This is Meb Keflezighi, the winner of the 2014 Boston Marathon.
Was the pace that you went out at sort of what you had planned to run, and were you surprised that it got you the lead that it got you?
The race started on a great day, for the John Hancock and BAA doing a great field. So I was 19th going in, but I've been worse. But the pace started quickly. I was in the lead, and Ryan and I were exchanging leads. And by the same time, I was very, very, very comfortable and just kept going. Then at some time after 5K, after I got my fluid, I kind of tucked in behind a little bit, just kind of see if somebody else can take the lead, because I don't want to be in the lead all the time. But then about 6 miles into it, there was change with Josaphat Boit. It was fine. The pace was good. I mean, if I'm going to run a personal best or if I'm going to win, it's going to have to be from the front. A lot of people probably don't know that I'm a front runner, but I love being in the front and get the crowd going. And so that's what I did, and I felt comfortable the whole way through. But at the same time, I didn't see the halfway point. I was kind of worried. I asked Josaphat what was the halfway 13.1. He didn't know either. I missed that spot. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. And about 17, going to that fire station, Josaphat was hurting a little bit. I picked it up a little bit, and then I knew the hills were going to come, and I wanted to I want to conquer those hills by myself if I could, and try to use the crowd to get me in. And the crowd was amazing and phenomenal, and they helped me get through it.
When did you have a sense of how large your lead was? When was the first time that you realized either I have a really big lead or my really big lead is shrinking?
When I took the lead with Josaphat, I thought we were making gaps, but I'm like, what are they doing? I'm like, they might be making the biggest mistake. And I was thinking that in my head, and I know Josaphat and I have run in the past together, and I know his strengths and weakness, and I think I know the course also. I helped him know the course, so I know what was coming. I didn't think he did, or I'm not exactly sure, and I just decided to keep going. But I don't know, after this moment, I don't know how big the lead was at one point, and I know they might come back from behind, work together, and try to catch us. And at one point, I almost told even Josaphat, let's wait for them or slow down. But I'm like, that would have been a big mistake. And obviously, you have to contemplate those in your head. And by going to the fire station, mile 17 and 18, I just decided this might be the day. I mean, I've always thought it could happen. And I prayed, you know what? God help me, get me to that, because the United States deserves this, Boston deserves this, and what an opportunity that I have. And I just kept chugging away and, conquered these hills. But at the same time, I wasn't sure how many of them are coming back behind me.
So racing at your level, obviously there's the whole physical aspect, but you're also having to make constant decisions about how to make use of your fitness, how to be a good tactician, strategist. Can you talk about how difficult that may have been on this day in particular, given how can you shut off your emotions and concentrate on being?
I've been thinking about the bombing or the Boston Marathon 365 days since April 15. A few days, a week later now. I mean, it's been on my mind every day. I see people with a hat, whether I'm in San Diego with a Red Sox hat or Boston Strong shirt, and the jackets, and it's just been an amazing, and you can't avoid it. And I'm like, but it makes you drive. It's like, what? I want to do it. I knew I was going to do Boston, and I was just training for it. And no matter what happened this whole year, that was it. That's the day and moment. And it happened in God's time. And this is my third time here. I made some mistake the first time, and then the second time I ruptured quad. And Coach Larson, before I left the field, the church, he said, you ran 209, 26 with ruptured quad and going, having some stomach issue and whatnot. So he can run to 08, he can to 07. So a lot of my team support me what I've been doing, and it's a team effort. I might run the race, but it gave me confidence that I could do it. I was fourth at the Olympic Games, not under ideal condition. So I have to thank those during the race. I'm like, when they let me go, I says, you know what? I was second at the Olympic Games, won New York, and fourth at the Olympic Games. You might be making a mistake, but you know what? That's fine. I'm going to keep driving. And, sometimes you have to shut the emotion, but at the same token, you can't avoid it because the crowd is phenomenal. You see signs and riding on the streets and things like that. So, you know, it says Boston Strong. You almost want to point out, but it's like focus, focus, focus. You know, so but you can't help it. It was there.
You've been second in the Olympics. You've been fourth at the Olympics. You've won New York. Where would you rank this in relation to all your other many very, very, very high-level accomplishments?
Just way at the winning the Boston Marathon is way on the top of my list. I mean, you know, the Olympics was more for the United States. I want to help the U.S. distance running resurgence. I want to be able to get a medal. I set that goal before I left the stadium in 2000 as a 10K Olympian. And I wanted to go to Beijing, get another medal, but you know, I didn't advance because of injuries. And then I made a personal goal to say, you know what, I can't wait 4 years. So New York City Marathon will be my personal Olympics. So, but bear in mind, I was on my elbows and knees, crawling like 10-month-old baby because I could not put weight on my hip. And I have to overcome that. I have to work a year and a half of therapy. That's not guaranteed to win that, but I did all the right things, and there's been great people on my team to be able to help me do that. And now, you know, made the Olympic team. Obviously, that's the way I wanted to go out at the Olympics, getting fourth place. I didn't win a medal, but I feel proud finishing fourth at the Olympic Games. And now, when the Boston incident happened last year, I'm like, I want to be able to win it for Boston. I want to be able to win it for America. I want to, you know, for the runners that I was there for 4 hours before the bomb exploded, watching people cross the finish line. And I told the John Hancock people, I said, this is the graduation of people, of runners, because they have to qualify to get here. And you can see the expression in their eyes or body when they finish the Boylston Street, the finish line, and they're holding hands, they're helping support each other. It was just an amazing, I wanted to write a speech about it, in fact. And I told Rob Hill, who was next to me, help me take some notes, take a mental notes, because I really want to write. And then something else happened, and that put it in perspective. And for me, I said, you know what? Before the bombing, I sent a text to Ryan Hall after the winning men, what happened. I said, we need to come here next year and do it. It will be our time. And he said, we'll get it done. We'll work together. And the bomb happened, and it just made it, you know, not extra special to say, but we lost lives with the four victims that are on my bib, and there were so many wounded, you know, emotionally, physically, and all around. I mean, people ears or hands, limbs, and whatnot. It's just, it was touching. But I just made it to this hotel when I heard something, and then I was just there a few minutes ago, and it's like, how can it be? It's impossible. And then we just start crying, and we feel helpless. But you know, people needed this, and you know, it couldn't happen a better time. And obviously, I feel blessed that God has allowed me to be able to come across first.
Does winning here today motivate you to stay in the sport longer, or does it check that box and move you closer to retirement?
I can probably say that my career has been 100% fulfilled. There was 0.01 that was missing, but that was a big one. It was the Boston Marathon. You know, I feel, you know, in terms of percentage, it might look less, but I feel everything checklist on my resume, from national title to American record to New York to the Olympic medal and Boston win. It's just, but you know, it gets me more actually closer because I just ran a personal best. And if I tell my wife always, if I can finish in the top 10 at the major marathons, this is success, because we all work hard. It's going to be whose day that day. And I'd like to announce today on April 21st, 2014, Boston was on my lucky day, and be able to win it and do it not just for myself, but Boston Strong and for America and for the whole wide world.